You probably know that one of Peppa Pig's favorite companions isn't exactly a person, it's her teddy bear, Teddy.
Teddy!
But have you ever heard of the bizarre theory that suggests Teddy isn't just an ordinary doll as we all imagine? What if Teddy actually has a life of its own? The creepiest part is that this theory has strong evidence supporting it. For instance, if we pay attention to how Peppa talks about her friend Teddy, things get suspicious. Sometimes, Peppa shares Teddy's opinions and preferences as if the two regularly chat and Teddy tells her personal likes and dislikes. One great example of this is in the episode Health Check, where Peppa reveals some curious details about her so-called imaginary friend, like how Teddy eats vegetables. Mr. Potato better not find out. These odd remarks make you wonder, could Teddy actually be some sort of mystical creature disguised as a doll? Probably not a biological life form though. Peppa didn't hear any heartbeat when using a stethoscope on Teddy.
E agora do Ted?
O coração do Ted faz tum-ti-tum, tum-ti-tum?
Não.
Peppa is right, at least partly. Teddy is a real doll, but it's definitely not just that. Peppa's favorite stuffed toy might actually be a cursed object with its own soul, something akin to Daisy, Anaïs's donkey from The Amazing World of Gumball. But what is Teddy's purpose? Does this toy have sinister plans for Peppa and the pig family, or is it as harmless as it seems? Curious to uncover the truth? Then join us as we dive in. Welcome to another Cinewave. There's a recurring gag in the show where Peppa constantly loses her teddy bear in different places. This happens more than once, like in the episode Teddy's Day Out, where Peppa forgets Teddy at home and then loses it at the park. She only gets Teddy back because Mr. Zebra drives to the pig family's house to return it. Peppa even gets scolded for losing Teddy. But what if we told you these disappearances aren't simply due to Peppa's carelessness? It's possible that most of the time, when it seems like Peppa forgot her teddy bear, it wasn't really a case of forgetting. What's really happening is that the toy is slipping away on its own, trying to escape. This theory gains credibility when you watch the episodes where the pig family travels to Italy. In this storyline, Peppa loses Teddy repeatedly. Early in the trip, she leaves the doll on the airplane. The next day, while enjoying Italian pizza, Peppa says Teddy loved the pizza. When they leave, Teddy stays behind in a chair as if wanting to eat more pizza. The most alarming incident happens when the pig family is heading to the airport to leave Italy. This time, Peppa doesn't leave Teddy anywhere. The car pulls away and suddenly Teddy is lying on the ground. Peppa didn't drop the toy, it simply fell or jumped out of the car before they left, as if Teddy desperately wanted to stay in Italy. Unlike other times when Teddy escapes, this time Peppa wouldn't have found her doll if the family had left for England without it. Usually, Teddy only seems to want a brief escape from Peppa, but in this case the toy seemed determined to stay in another country, never to see Peppa again. This odd behavior can't just be random. It could be a clue about Teddy's origin. Before her spirit was trapped in a toy, she might have been an Italian woman. That's why Teddy loved Italian pizza so much and wanted to escape the pig family. She had finally returned home. Unfortunately, she couldn't stay because an Italian policeman always intervened, returning her to Peppa. Speaking of that policeman, how does he always know where Teddy is? Every time the doll escapes, he finds it and brings it back. Even more suspiciously, the first time this character appears is when Daddy Pig is driving on the wrong side of the road, nearly causing a serious accident. The policeman isn't even fazed, he simply tells them to be careful with Teddy. This is far too strange to ignore. That policeman definitely knows the truth about Teddy and likely had a hand in its creation. In other words, Teddy's past is undeniably tied to Italy. If you think this theory could be true, comment below with #Teddy. One thing that confuses some people is Teddy's gender. Although she's occasionally referred to as he, Teddy is actually a girl. This was confirmed by Peppa herself in the episode My Birthday Party, when she dresses the doll in a dress and mentions it to her dad. But isn't that a bit strange? If Teddy were purely an imaginary character, why didn't Peppa treat her as a girl from the start? The way this unfolds makes it seem like Peppa thought her doll was a boy, until Teddy herself corrected her and explained that she's actually a girl. Even Daddy Pig initially believed Teddy was a male bear, probably because he heard Peppa referring to her as he. After his daughter apparently changed her mind about the toy's gender and dressed Teddy in a dress, Daddy Pig went along with it, dismissing it as just a child's whim. But we, as outside observers, know this isn't just child's play. Peppa seems to know very specific details about her friend, things that are far too precise for a girl her age to simply invent, and that's very suspicious. If we consider the possibility that Teddy is likely a spirit inhabiting a stuffed animal, these details Peppa knows must come directly from the haunting's past life. This means Teddy was probably a woman before she died, perhaps even a young girl around Peppa's age, given that she ended up inside a children's toy. This, however, implies that Teddy may be hiding a more tragic past than we could have ever imagined, but we'll discuss that subject a bit later. One of the biggest mysteries in Peppa Pig is the unknown account on the family's computer. Each account belongs to a family member, which is evident from the usernames formed using the letters of their names. The only exceptions are Susie Sheep's account and a final, completely mysterious account labeled OOP. There are several theories attempting to explain this, such as the famous theory suggesting Peppa might have an evil twin who secretly lives in her house. However, this mystery fits perfectly with the Teddy theory. It's entirely possible that Teddy gets up in the middle of the night and uses the computer without anyone suspecting a thing. The score on this mysterious account in the chicken game is notably low. To score points in this game, all you have to do is press the keyboard buttons. It's incredibly simple, unless of course, you're a toy without fingers. The name OOP might not mean anything at all and could just be random letters that Teddy managed to type while creating the account. After all, typing must be a huge challenge for her. But if OOP does hint at a real name, perhaps her name is something like Olga Pig or a similar variation. Yes, Pig. The usernames for Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig also end with P, so the P in OOP could stand for pig. There are two possible explanations for this. Either Teddy considers herself part of the family, or she once was a pig herself before her death. Now that you've seen all the clues suggesting that Teddy truly has a life of her own, it's time to piece everything together to uncover the character's past. But first, why not subscribe to the channel? That way you'll always get our latest videos about Peppa Pig and many other amazing shows. Now, get ready to be amazed, detective. Based on the many clues we've already discussed, it really seems like Teddy is the soul of an Italian girl. We don't have solid evidence of her name, but let's call her Olga. Spirits are often trapped in items they were attached to during their lives, meaning the Teddy doll was very likely Olga's toy. This suggests that Olga passed away when she was still a child, likely around Peppa's age. Olga also seems to have had a personality similar to Peppa's, as she liked dresses and Italian pizza. Unfortunately, terrible things can happen to anyone: men, women, adults, or children. And poor Olga had the misfortune of being chosen by a cult to be sacrificed in a ritual. Tragically, that's exactly what happened. However, something went wrong during the ritual. As a side effect, Olga's soul was sealed inside her favorite toy, turning her into a vengeful spirit. After being trapped in the doll, Olga likely sought revenge on the cult members. She may have succeeded in eliminating some of them since she had become nearly invincible. Unable to defeat her, the remaining cultists locked her in some kind of box. Their plan was to keep her trapped forever, but somehow she managed to escape. Our theory is that her rescuer was Mr. Fox, the character who sells all sorts of things out of his van and is very likely a thief, as other videos have speculated. If Mr. Fox is truly a scavenger, he might have heard rumors about the haunted doll and decided to steal it to sell it in England. And sell it he did, to Daddy Pig, who gave it to Peppa as a gift. The doll doesn't seem to harbor any ill will toward Peppa or her family. In fact, she probably enjoys her new home. However, she still longs to avenge the people who used her as a sacrifice and to return to her homeland. That's why, when the Pig family went to Italy, she tried desperately to escape from Peppa. And she would have succeeded if it weren't for the Italian policeman who was secretly a member of the cult that performed the horrific ritual. He knew that Teddy, or rather Olga, was a threat and did everything he could to ensure she returned to England with the Pig family. Will Teddy ever find the peace she so desperately desires? We've left 2 awesome videos for you on our screen. Click on one to keep the fun going. Thanks, and see you next time.